everyone. Welcome to another episode of It's Crystal Clear, a show that's designed to tell your money where to go instead of always wondering where it went. My name is Felicia Young, and I want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey towards financial freedom. So today's episode is called The Grass is Not Greener Over There. A few weeks ago, I was talking to a young lady named Courtney. Her story inspired this week's episode, and she gave me permission to share it with you all. So, Courtney has a group of friends who she spends time with a few times a month. So, those friends are managers, they're entrepreneurs, and they're executives. They wear name brand clothes, they drive the latest cars, and they live in really nice homes. So every time they get together, it's either for spa dates or expensive restaurants or shopping sprees in different cities. And although she loves the friend group, Courtney found that spending time with them would become really stressful for her. She simply couldn't afford to have fun with them when they went out. She didn't make as much money as they did. She had a husband and she has children and she has a lot of expenses that goes along with that family life. So every time she went out with the ladies, she got the least expensive items on the menu, or she pretended she ate a big meal earlier and didn't get anything. Or every time she went to the spa, she selected her services last, so they wouldn't know that she got the least expensive service that the spa offered. Every time they went shopping, she made sure she hung on to the receipts and she returned those clothes later. She felt the pressure to keep up the appearance of the lifestyles that her friends had in order to keep being accepted by them. That's what she felt. So, although she had a great husband, she has well-behaved children, she has a beautiful home that's in a really nice neighborhood, she just felt that her life wasn't as good as her friends because of what they had to compare to what she had. So, she knew that she shouldn't have been comparing lifestyles, but she just couldn't help it. And sometimes, if she had to be honest, she was really jealous of her friends and their ability to spend what they wanted, when they wanted, every single time they wanted to. So it started causing problems in her marriage because she overused her credit cards every time she went out with her friends. And her family finances had to be managed to the penny to make sure they could afford their expenses. So her family, they weren't broke, but her husband just believed in living within your means and not overspending on unnecessary material things. He would fuss at her every single time she would head out to go hang out with the girls. He said she didn't know what those ladies' finances looked like in reality. He said the grass looks greener on the other side, but he bet it was all just astroturf. She felt that he just didn't understand. He didn't understand her world. So the ladies planned a self-care trip to Miami one time. And Courtney definitely wanted to go, but she knew a weekend trip just wasn't in her budget. She couldn't let them know she couldn't afford the trip. So she decided that she would get a payday loan and use her credit cards to pay for the trip. So she lied to her husband about where she got the money from. She made him believe that she saved the money from working overtime. So I asked her why she just didn't work the overtime to begin with to have the money for the trip. She said she didn't think of it that fast. If she would have thought of it early enough to do that. But whenever she got back from the trip, she would work the overtime to pay off the loans and pay down the credit cards. So she and her friends flew to Miami and they started the weekend partying and having a lot of fun. She saw her friends swiping their cards everywhere they went. She had to watch what she spent because she only had so much room on the credit card and she was only given so much with that payday loan. Every single place that they went, her friends spent like money was no object. Everywhere they went, she had to watch prices or she had to go without. But she noticed after a while that some of her friends' cards started maxing out. And then the cards were declined. And the other friend would start paying for it. She thought that it was really odd because they made so much money and they seemed unbothered by their cards declining because one of the other friends would pay for the tab. It was just really strange to her. So Courtney finally seen that her husband was right when he said the grass wasn't greener on the other side. The ladies went to the mall to shop, and one friend loaded up her arms with dresses and jeans, tops and shoes, just anything that she could carry in her hand. When the cashier rung her up, she swiped that credit card and her credit card was declined. She swiped another one. That one was declined. She swiped a third one. It declined. This lady had nerves to look at Courtney to take out her card and to come to the rescue. Courtney told her that she couldn't buy those items for her, that just cost too much money. Courtney told the friend to just put the clothes back and they can go sightsee or go do something else that wasn't as expensive. Those ladies had the nerve to turn and look at Courtney like she just said like the most horrible thing ever to them. So Courtney felt that pressure. She felt it build up and she paid the bill for her friend. So this continued all weekend. No discipline, no self-control. And by the time she got home, the payday loan was gone and her cards were nearly maxed out. So she didn't worry too much because she knew that the ladies would give her their money back whenever they got paid. So paydays came and paydays went, and none of them paid her back. But they had the nerves to invite her to more dinners and to more shopping trips. When they went on the shopping trips, they continued to swipe their cards with ease. And after several more pay periods passing by with no repayments, Courtney finally snapped one good time, and she demanded all of her money be repaid within 1 day, which they did. And that meant that they had the money all along, and they obviously could care less about her financial situation or repaying her back. But the repayment that her friends did, it was a little too late. So Courtney had forgotten to make a payment to the payday loan company, and they called her house looking for when they could expect her to come in and make the payment. And her husband answered the phone. So needless to say, World War III occurred in her household that whole night. She admitted to her husband that he was right. The grass just wasn't greener on the other side. It was just fake. It was astroturf. He saw that her so-called friends were fake. Their lives were fake, spending more than they made to impress each other every single time. The life that she tried to portray was fake. She worked overtime to pay off the loan, and her husband helped her to pay off the credit card debts. She stopped hanging out with those friends, and she made more time to spend with her husband and to spend with her children. They took time to make plans to live their lives within budget, and she started doing better. But unfortunately, her story is a common story, living a life above your means to impress others. It may not be your friends, but maybe it's your coworkers or other family members whose lives seems to be greener. People are going around looking fabulous, but inside they're really broke. We're robbing Peter to pay Paul, when in reality, Peter's broke too. We're working hard. We're working so hard to keep up with the Joneses, but the Joneses are broke too. And truth be told, there are people looking at your life, trying to keep up with you. And unfortunately, you're broke too. It's just a vicious cycle of living to keep up with each other instead of living to gain a life of contentment. So why do we allow ourselves to get caught up in this vicious cycle? Overworking to make money, to overspend on things and stuff and more things and more stuff, and having to overwork more to try to pay for it all and still end up broke. Y'all, it's not logical. It just doesn't make sense. But today, you're going to make a pledge and you're going to make a promise to yourself that you will not live your life looking at other people's green grass. You're going to do what you can to water your own, to take care of your own, to manage your own. So, what are you going to do to make sure that your grass is green? Number one, you're going to make time to find out what's causing it to lose its color in the first place. So that's examining your overspending, that's reducing and eliminating your latte factor, that's stop swiping your card for things you just do not need. Remember, you're trying to eliminate debt. You don't have to spend money on stuff every single day. Go a few days without buying anything. Number 2, you're going to make time to plan what you really want to spend your money on in the present and in the future. So you've heard people say that they spend all their money now because they never know when they're going to die and they can't take the money with them. So although the last statement is true, it's a bad way to live. So we do not know when our last day on this earth is. It may be till the end of this year, or it could be in 30 more years. Either way, you want to make sure you have enough money to live on comfortably. Surely, you don't want to have to work for the next 30 years because you don't have enough money saved up just to keep your lights on. All because you keep spending your money buying shoes that you really don't need today. That's not logical. Number 3, you have to make time to budget. You can go to work every day, and you shouldn't be broke every payday. If you're broke every payday, you're doing something really wrong. You must make time weekly to tell your money where to go every single day. We're not going to have no more mindless spending. We're not going to have no more swiping just because you see someone else swiped. No more buying just because you see a sale. I've said it time and time and time again. There will always be a sale. We're not going to buy anymore just because. Yes, I want you to enjoy life. I really, really do. And yes, I want you to travel and see the world. And yes, I want you to experience the finer things in life. But I don't want you to do it if you have to constantly go into debt just to do so. That right there is not living. That's looking at that fake grass. Number 4, you're going to make time to check your circle of friends. So Courtney surrounded herself with some fake friends. Not one time did it seem like they cared about each other's well-being. To go on a trip without having enough money was insane. To expect the other friends to pay for your overspending, that was insane. To lack the discipline to simply stop trying to spend when they ran out of money, that was insane. For the other friends to pay the bills, y'all, that's insane. Remember in the previous episode called What About Your Friends? I told you you need to surround yourself with people who want to see you win, who, if needed to, would carry you and rip the roof off to get you the help that you need. So it's obvious that in Courtney's circle, they had a spending problem, and not one of them took action to slow the group down to address it. Not one of them thought enough of each other to make sure they were good. So Courtney definitely had AstroTurf friends. She definitely did, and I'm glad that she doesn't anymore. But that's not going to be you. The people in your circle, they should deliberately check to see if you're okay financially. And if you aren't, y'all will do what you need to do in order to help each other out. Your friends should help each other water your grass. 5, you're going to make time to save and invest for your future, the near future and far future, by writing down the vision for your life and making it plain. You should know approximately how much it costs to live a great life. By intentionally putting a portion of your earnings into an interest-bearing account, you really could generate enough money just in interest to live off of. Y'all, I really do know several people whose investment accounts generate enough interest for them to pay their house notes and their living expenses every single month. So this concept is not just for rich people to do. It's for people who tell their money where to go to do. Make time to make your money make money. So I want you to change your mindset towards money. I want you to figure out your why. Why do you overspend? Is it because you're emotional? Buying things just to make you feel good isn't helpful. You're going to spiral again once you see that credit card bill at the end of the month. Do you overspend because you want revenge? Buy a new outfit and spending money on major makeovers just to make him jealous after you break up? That is not helpful. Trust me, he's moved on with his life, and now you got a maxed out credit card that you're having a hard time paying. Do you overspend just because your friends are? You don't know their financial situation. They could either be drowning in debt while swiping, or they can have their latte factor in check with a well thought out budget. No matter what their case is, you should spend according to what you told your budget you can afford, period. So, temptation and self control, self discipline could make this journey challenging for you. I understand. However, the reward for being an intentional spender and saver will make the discipline well worth it in the end. I promise you it will. So, go ahead and water your own grass. Take care of it, manage it, cultivate it, and enjoy watching the green grow. And I'm talking about your money. So this is this week's episode of It's Crystal Clear. I hope that you are really finding these episodes helpful in changing your lives. If they are, I would love for you to let me know. So remember, we're in the middle of our 6-month goal challenge. How are you doing? Are you going to make it? I'm sure you will, because you want to live a better life within budget. So keep going. And I want you to share this podcast with others in your circle who you feel want to live their best lives within budget as well. So It's Crystal Clear Podcast is on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. So I would love for you to subscribe and share. I want to thank my behind the scenes team for all their great work. And I want to thank each one of you for watching every single week and making positive changes in your lives by using the lessons from this podcast. So until next time, I want you to dream big. I want you to stay focused, and I want you to live your best life within budget. I will see you next time on It's Crystal Clear.